Hello there. This is Joseph. You've seen me before. I'm back. And here I am with another one of my paintings. And this is a portrait. This is a 16 by 28 acrylic on canvas. And it's called The Poet Poe. It's Edgar Allan Poe. I did this back in the early 1980s, 81. It's like I said, it's an acrylic on canvas.
What inspired you to paint it?
Well, that's what I was going to talk about a little bit. Is that Poe was a very kind of an unusual poet. He talked. His poetry dealt a lot with the darker side of existence. The fears of the imagination, so he did things like the Telltale Heart and Pit and the Pendulum and the Raven, come tapping at your door type of thing. A little bit on the spooky side, which I was always interested in, the what's beyond the veil, just out of sight, out of the corner of your vision, peripheral, things that go tap in the dark. Things that are deep-seated, kind of almost fearful things that come from deep within inside. And it's overcoming self is what that is all about. And so Poe was somebody that I related to, just as far as artist, I related to Artemis Bosch. He was a pretty strange artist. He painted all kinds of demons and hell and things going on. I like Crowley. Some of early Crowley was very interesting. There's all kinds of people that were into this really other world type of thing. Well, that's what Poe was. He was a poet, and a little bit unusual for his time. He saw the darker side of things, and he saw, I guess, in his poeticness, a beauty in it, and he came out with this strange stuff. So, Poe is in his kind of a cape. He's got the semi-long hair.
Why is the background red?
Well, red is high energy. It's hot. It's high energy. And Poe is a high energy person, even though he was a very creative person. For his time, he was actually misunderstood because people had a hard time relating to his morbid dark side. And in reality, his morbid dark side was nothing more than his inner search for himself, and which we all are doing. We all have that inner search, looking for the deeper meaning to everything. And so that's what Poe was really about. He was a published poet for his time because his stuff was pretty sinister, but he was very misunderstood, and people saw him as being kind of a ghostly, sinister, and he wasn't at all, really. He was an enlightened person in reality. He saw this dark beauty that nobody else could quite see, and he brought it out in his beautiful poetry. I guess Poe was existed around the 1800s, mid-1800s. I'm not really a what you call historian when it comes to Edgar Allan Poe. Mostly what my interest was in Poe was his poetry. I was always, of course, his poetry was so great, they made all kinds of movies and stuff just dealing with his poetry. Vincent Price became famous as an actor doing Edgar Allan Poe's poetry. So he was kind of like
why it was such an important thing
he
to
was.
want to paint.
Yeah, he was a kind of in some ways like a Shakespeare, but just darker.
A darker Shakespeare.
Yeah, it's just darker, and his stories came out in a poetry of how he portrayed. But he was a storyteller in his poems. The Pit and the Pendulum, the Telltale Heart,
The Raven.
the Raven, come tapping at your door, forevermore, type of thing. So that's what it's all about, and this is just a time in my life that in my development, and things that I like. And of course, painters or creative people do.
What were you doing at this time? What kind of other stuff?
I was doing Victorian, Prussian, military in their beautiful uniforms, mad jesters. And most of the time that I did this is when I just graduated from doing oil paintings. I was, when I around this time of my life, I went from oil paintings to acrylics. And I was striving to create an acrylic painting that is like an oil painting. There's not much difference. And some artists have a problem with that. They can't get that media to work for them like they do the fluidness of oils. Well, I was able to master, or at least I think I was mastered it. I'm not sure, I don't want to sound like I'm blowing my own horn. But, I struggled to create a very close similarity to oil paintings and using acrylics. And acrylics are superior in a lot of ways to oils, only because acrylics aren't affected so much by the environment. Oils are very corrosive. Oil paints rot away the canvas, rot away everything, even wood eventually. The oils just totally, so that's why they have to restore them all the time. That's why oil paintings are in museums, and half the time you don't even see the original painting. A lot of times what you're looking at is somebody's beautiful forgery. Right down to the signature. I mean, it's beautiful. A forgery, if I painted a painting like that, and so they would really look down upon me, which I have done a few in my time. I won't even tell you about them. But if I painted, it would be, but museums could do forgeries and all the day long, and they put them up there and the public looks at that and goes, wow, that's a beautiful masterpiece. And they're not even looking at the original artwork. The original artwork is in some airtight vault down in the basement somewhere, being protected for forever and ever.
Generations.
Yes. Yeah. So, but the forgeries will last longer than the original painting. So what does that tell you? So anyway, I think I've rattled on enough, and I'm going to close for now. And so you guys stay tuned and up to date with our videos by subscribing by pushing the little red button down at the bottom of the picture here. And you guys have a good one, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.